How's it going, YouTube? Happy Saturday. I hope wherever, whenever you're at, you're having a good day. That would make me feel better, feel good, because why not? Sending positive vibes out into the ether as I go the wrong way to exit this parking lot. It's just one of those days. Anyway, what in the world am I yammering about this time? Well, I'm going to whine and complain a bit about, exhaustion and stress and miscellaneous other excuses for why life is the way it is right now. Not really, but kind of. Really what I'm going to be harping on is the stress and strain and exhaustion that comes with attempting to run a small business pretty much entirely on your own. For those of you who've been doing this for a while as a trucker, you know the score, you know the ins and outs, you've been through it. Been through the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, the lefts, the rights, the U-turns, the you name it, and the what have yous. So, this is nothing new to any of you old hands who know the score on this business and have been doing it for a long time. But for us younger folks, in terms of our experience in the business and the life, there is potentially some culture shock involved, because just because you have a decent truck that's working and things are going well, it doesn't mean it's all roses, cakes, and cheeses. I mean, there's bumps in the road for all of us, and depending on the time of the year or what's been going on, you hit some of those bumps and you get burned out, you get worn down. You need to find a way to decompress, do something to keep yourself sane. And I'm going through those bumps in the road right now. It's been, I won't say it's been tough, because it hasn't been. Things have been difficult. There have been some unforeseen expenses maintenance wise, which I really wasn't looking forward to paying the bills on. I've still got a couple of maintenance issues I need to attend to, both truck and trailer, unfortunately. And the unforeseen expenses that have come up, blessedly, have not been, game-changing or game-breaking. So despite the fact that I've had to put several thousand into my truck and trailer in the last month, things, it could be worse. But blessedly, they are not. And in a manner of speaking, I think I'm kind of, about to be on the other side of most of the issues, potentially. Just to recap, in the last month I've had to replace 2 trailer tires as a chunk of rubber came off one of my recaps, which was not a fun build I had to pay, but it was either get that tire replaced while I could, or risk it totally falling apart and causing problems. So just had to get that done. Then my truck water pump seal really didn't let go to the point where it was like constantly leaking, but I knew it was only going to get worse, so I had to replace the water pump, which was actually kind of a fascinating thing to see. I didn't watch the whole replacement process, but the water pump itself, the design of it, how it functions, that was a surprise to me. So it was fun in that respect to see that and get that done. Now I know the water pump on the truck is good, it's new, sealed, and it's not leaking any more coolant, which is always a good thing, especially coming up to winter here, and don't want to have any fluid leaks, because that could just cause problems where you don't need them to be. And then after that, literally just a few days later, after I got that repair taken care of, my trailer, one of the wheel seals blew. And I had to spend a day and a half in Florida getting that fixed. Essentially, not really a day and a half, but just about I lost about a day and a half worth of work in terms of the time I had to take to get the load I had off my truck and then get to a shop where I get it fixed. And it took a while just waiting my turn to get in the shop and get it fixed. And then I noticed I was losing air out of my tanks on the truck faster than I should have been. Like, I was using more air than I should have been. And so I had to get that checked out, and it turns out a couple of fittings were leaking air, so I got that sorted out, but I'm still kind of leaking air. And I got some gremlins somewhere that's got to get, tracked down at some point. Just getting that, finding the time and making sure the budget's there to get that done, because it could entail a possibly significant repair. that's been difficult. But fortunately, the air system is working properly. The brakes, do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. I'm not like my low air pressure warning is not going off. The air compressor is working fine. It's an issue that needs to get resolved sooner rather than later before it becomes a bigger problem. And I've been able to eliminate a number of causes, which has been good, but there is still an issue there that needs to be addressed. It just taking the time to get that done, it's just not been there, unfortunately. But eventually I'll make the time and get it in, get it done, get it taken care of. It'll be good. It's just one more thing. And then now, what I'm doing now is I'm heading to the truck, unfortunately, on my day off, because I need to replace a body panel. The battery cover on the Kenworth T680, especially the first, I guess you call it the first waves, first model years of that truck, they had the bright idea at PACCAR to make that panel removable so you could quickly get access to the batteries without having to take the entire fairing off, which, in fairness, was a good idea. Execution, however, was flat out trash, because the panel is held in place by 4 plastic pegs or fiberglass pegs, whatever, and as those trucks age and they're jostling down the road, those pegs eventually break and that panel just flies right off and you lose it. And unfortunately, mine that I thought I'd already repaired, it just flew off one day, and I was like, well, crap, that's what I did not need to have happen. But it flew off in a way where recovering it would have put myself and other people on the road at significant risk. It was a huge safety issue. It's just like, you know what? It's gone. I cannot safely recover it. It's gone. So the replacement for that particular lovely panel, thanks to the wisdom of PACCAR and Kenworth, it's an almost $400 part, curved piece of fiberglass. $400, essentially. If you go to MHC Kenworth, it's going to be almost $500, because it's just there's just no easy way to deal with that, unless you magically find at a scrapyard someone who's got a T680 of the same make and model year as yours, and the panel, you can just pull it off and stick it on yours and maybe get it repainted down the road at some point. Great. But when you can't get into a scrapyard that has your truck essentially just sitting there waiting to be scavenged, it makes it more difficult. And of course, this past week, some poor fool backed into me. So, it's just one thing after another in a never-ending stream of, business. That is the nature of the beast. That is the beast itself. That is just the way it is. Because you run your own business, everything is on your shoulders. All the expenses, the taxes, the records keeping, the permits, everything. It's all on you to make sure you get it done properly and to take care of it. And I'm way behind on a lot of stuff that I'm going to have to force myself to get caught up on here real quick, because the end of the year is coming soon, and with it means we're almost to tax season, both for fourth quarter 2023 and also annual taxes for 2023 are coming up soon, which is going to be just super fun to deal with. But it is what it is. And so it all adds up to a great deal of mental and in some cases physical exhaustion. There's just no getting around it. It is what it is, and it sucks. But either you find a way to grit your teeth and get through it, and just find some way, somehow, somewhere, somewhen where you can relax and decompress. You got your to-do list managed. You've got things the way they need to be, where you can take some time and just breathe and sit and relax a spell. or you just keep working until you can reach that point where you can try to recapture some equilibrium. But in the meantime, the work must go on, and that is what brings me to where I'm at today, where the work needs to go on because I need to get this panel attached, because the sooner it's attached and my batteries are recovered, the better it's going to be for me, because it's going to eliminate a possible issue or a hazard, because we're getting into the sloppier part of the year. And even if I don't get this panel painted anytime soon, at the very least, having my batteries covered is going to be safer for me, because now there's less issue of possibly ice or road slop or debris getting into the battery box and causing me problems that I really don't need to add to my life at this point. So with that being said, YouTube, it's time to get this project started. Thank you very much for watching me complain and moan and groan. It's a little bit cathartic, I'll be honest. It doesn't quite solve my problems, because complaining about them doesn't just magically fix them, sadly. The work still has to be done. But for those of you considering going into the owner-operator world, yes, there is immense value in being your own boss, owning your own business, and having everything be on your shoulders with no one watching over you, no dispatcher hounding you about X, Y, and Z. But the strain of the responsibility can also be immense. It is commensurate. The more freedom you have, the more responsibility you have. There's never more of one and less of the other. They're always going to be in equilibrium. The more free you are, the more responsible you have to be. That's just the way it is. Anyway, time for me to stop flapping my gums here and get to work. So with that being said, YouTube, I'll see you down the road.